Welcome one and all to the Cinegeeks podcast where movies, TV, and all things geek collide. I'm Roy, joined by my lovely co-host Angela.
We're back!
Yes, Angela, nakapagpahinga tayo sandali. Kamusta naman yung yung rest and relaxation natin? Mga ilang araw lang pagkatapos nung marathon na Cinemalaya.
Parang hindi naman nag-rest.
Well, true. At least hindi naman bumalik sa ating analysis na mode for a while.
How can you rest if it doesn't feel like work?
Oh, true.
Diba?
Very true. So, just for those of you who are listening to our podcast for the first time, we'd like to invite you to please follow our podcast on Spotify, Google Podcast, or Apple Podcast, wherever you listen. Make sure to set your podcast app to automatically download new episodes. And don't forget to join the Cinegeeks conversation over on Facebook and on Threads. That's at CinegeeksPod. And we'd love to hear from you, especially since today we will be talking about two movies that were released yesterday, August 16. So
yes.
So nagre-record tayo Thursday night, August 17.
Yep.
And the two movies, let's get to it. First one is Third World Romance, directed by Dwayne Baltazar, written by Dwayne Baltazar and Jericho Aguado. And Blue Beetle, directed by Angel Manuel Soto, written by Gareth Dunnett Alcocer. I hope I pronounced that right.
Parang parehas lang Filipino movie.
Yun na nga, oo. True. Oo. Parang, parehas Star Cinema. Anyway, so for Third World Romance, our first movie, the movie is about an outspoken cashier and laid-back grocery bagger navigate the path to being happy despite the challenges of their blue-collared living in a world where nothing comes for free. Main cast includes Carlo Aquino and Charlie Dizon. So both real REAL and real REEL lovers. Am I right?
Yes.
Okay. So again, let's get to it. Ange, what did you think of Third World Romance?
So yeah, Third World Romance, thematically speaking, nakakatuwa siya kasi it reminds me of the days na nung nagja-job hunting ako dati, especially nung working student ako. I was also from PUP, just like the character of Charlie Dizon named Brittany, or Brie for short. Nakakatuwa kasi I know somebody who speaks and acts exactly like her.
Yes.
Tuntua ako kasi nakikita ko talaga siya. And this just goes to show how in touch, inspired by reality, the director and the writer is when creating this character. And yung kay Carlo Aquino naman, the ever so optimistic guy named
Alvin.
This is a very feel-good movie for me. And it's not without its conflicts and challenges, pero lahat naman ng relationships ganun eh. So, nakakatuwa and nakakatawa. It's funny, your typical rom-com, pero make it very Filipino.
Sa akin naman, na-appreciate ko kung gaano siya ka-naturalistic. Sobrang reflection siya nung kung ano yung talagang buhay ng Pilipino, especially dun sa yung blue-collar level.
Yes.
Hindi niya niro-romanticize yung kalagayan nila sa buhay, nor din naman niya tinitreat yung kanilang situation na sobrang, hindi naman parang baliwala, pero parang yung hindi niya tinitreat yung buhay nila as plot device. Na hindi uusad yung kwento kung hindi sila quote-unquote cashier and bagger.
I agree. Hindi siya exaggerated.
Hindi eh. Tsaka yung tsaka yung fact na parang kahit ano yung trabaho mo, especially, I mean, dumaan naman tayo dun sa ganun na stage ng pagiging employee, kahit saang bagay na yun yung makaka-experience ka ng, yun nga, yung job hunting, yung nakailang apply ka na, tapos hindi ka pa rin tinatanggap, tapos may mga times talaga na totoo yun na kapag meron kang friend, tapos, I mean, it's a stroke of luck na you get a good job a job that hopefully you'll grow to love and enjoy.
Yeah.
Because pinasok ka ng friend mo.
Oo.
Hindi naman siya parang bad thing eh.
Oo. Marami tayong na-experience din yan.
Oo,
Yeah.
talaga. And pagdating dun sa pagkakasulat ng script, ang ganda nung pag-transition niya from situation to situation, yung pagkakasulat ni Dwayne Baltazar.
Yes.
Sobrang, yun na nga hindi nga siya romanticize. Hindi din naman niya parang nilalionize or parang ginagawa niya parang sobrang tinan niyo to, ang hero nila kasi cashier and bagger sila. Hindi. It's just presenting a true slice of life sa Pilipino. Di ba? Na yung may mga universal truths tayong dumalagpas sa class lines. Katulad nung halimbawa, yung may isang scene akong pinakagusto ko doon. Yung early on in the movie, sinet up siya na after nilang magtrabaho, parang kumain sila ng parang pares sa tabi nung yung samgyupsalan.
Oo.
Tapos parang nag-uusap silang dalawa, tapos sabi nila na parang, ano kaya pakiramdam no, kakain ka dyan?
Ang mahal-mahal, 600, tapos ikaw pa magluluto, ba namang...
Gusto ko yun mahal-mahal, ikaw magbabayad, ikaw pa paglulutuin nila. Gusto ko yung gano'n, na parang siyang, no matter what your social standing is, yung relatability niya eh. Tapos yung eventually, nung nag-date pa lang sila, tapos si Alvin, played by Carlo Aquino.
Yes.
Yung parang gumawa siya ng effort na parang gumawa ng kanilang mini samgyupsal doon sa tapos mismo ng samgyupsalan.
Alam mo, nakakatuwa na they find romance in the smallest things.
Exactly. Diba? Yun. Kasi, siya napaka-Pilipino nung kwento.
Oo.
Yung tipong, tama yung sinabi mo, na yung parang, the Filipino is romantic by heart.
Yes.
And the Filipino is able to find romance in the smallest things. Tama ka. Yun. Diba?
And they find joy in anything.
In anything.
Kahit na hindi sila nagfo-focus dun sa kung hindi man nila afford yun.
True.
Or kung hindi sila nakakakain dun. Yung ganon, talagang napaka-relatable naman niya. Kasi, personally, dumaan din ako doon na parang, mahal mo yan.
Tama.
And natutuwa lang ako kasi ganon na ganon din yung isip ko nun.
Oo. Tsaka din, yung sinabi mo nga na by nature ang Pilipino masiyahin. Ang ganda nung naging nung parang yung dichotomy nila or yung parang differences nila ni Alvin tsaka ni Brie. Kasi yung si Alvin, parang ang lumalabas, siya yung stereotypical na Pinoy. Na yung hindi naman happy-go-lucky. Pero alam niya kung paano maghanap nung joy in spite of his situation.
He always looks at the bright side of life.
Yes.
That's a Monty Python reference.
Wild Monty Python reference appears. Yes. Marami yung magiging ganyan in the next episodes. Anyway, yun nga, he always looks at the bright side of life. True. Yan na. Nagamit ko na yan. Tapos, etong si Brie, I mean, hindi mo din naman siya mafo-fault na ganun yung outlook niya sa buhay. Na tayo, pinagdaanan din natin yung ganong klaseng pagkakaroon ng juxtaposition ng happiness and parang yung hindi mo na alam kung saan ka kukuha ng solusyon sa problema mo. Na parang siya, kasi yung mom niya.
Yun nga isa pang very Filipino na trait. Yung strong family ties na hindi mo naman problema, pero inaakaw mo dahil problema siya ng pamilya mo.
And yun din, tama ka. Add to that, yung parang concept ng Pilipino sa pamilya na family isn't necessarily blood.
It's your chosen family.
Kung sino yung pinili mong pamilya. And to go into that further, natutuwa ako dun sa yung pinakitang yung family
ni Alvin.
Na yung mga drag queens. Natutuwa ako dun kasi sobrang niyang, ayokong sabihin na parang, ay wow, we're getting yung ganong klaseng representation. Hindi
hindi siya token, hindi siya token LGBT characters.
It feels real because you know people who have families na ganun.
And it also informs Alvin's character
Yes.
Being masayahin. Kasi if you've been around gays, drag queens, ay, grabe. Ganun talaga. Totoo yun. Ganun kaingay, ganun ka-chaotic. Diba? In a good way.
Ito nakakatawa nga dun nahuli mo nga siya minutes before siyang ni-reveal eh. Kasi di ba sabi mo sa nung parang nag-meet cute pa lang sila ni Alvin
Umpisa
tsaka ni
pa lang,
Brie.
oo.
Parang sabi mo, si Carlo Aquino,
Gay linggo ng gay linggo.
puro Becky talk.
Oo.
Tapos biglang pinakita yung family niya. Okay. Gets. Okay. Sige.
Kaya nga if you're around gays,
Exactly.
alam mo kaagad kung yung gay linggo, naiintindihan mo.
Oo, at saka may tipong, hindi mo kailangan maging LGBT para ma-pick up yun eh. Kasi ako, halimbawa ako to, I've spent 10 years in the BPO industry.
Yeah.
Masasabi ko ngayon na the LGBT community is a pillar of the BPO industry. As in, marami kang makikita ng mga magagaling na mga agents, yung mga trainers, QA, coaches, captains, mga ganun. Doon sa trabaho na yun. Mga boss.
Okay.
And dahil nga sila yung mga nakakapag-influence in a good way doon sa mga employees so how to do their job better, syempre sila, hahaluan nila ng flair nila.
Yeah.
Yung kung paano magturo. So parang yung mapipick up mo yung mga ganong klaseng mannerisms nila. And it in a way, it informs nga na, okay, that's why Alvin is like that. And yung kanyang optimism, yun, outlook niya sa buhay.
They always bring levity in any situation. Yun yung gusto ko kapag every time na I'm with gays and the majority of my friends are gays or lesbians, I'm such an ally na napagkakamala na din ako.
At
Sinama na nila ako sa rainbow.
Ang tawag nito, side plug lang. We have an upcoming episode of Drag Race Philippines episode 2 and 3 review.
Yeah. Oh, and by the way, dun sa movie, dito sa movie na to, Third World Romance, there are two Drag Race Philippines alumni. Si Silhouette at saka si Lady Morgana. Two fan favorites of Drag Race Philippines Season 1.
Sorry ayoko namang iwan agad yung main na kwento nung yung romance nila. Pero kasi sila yung pinaka nakakatuwang part doon sa buong scene.
Yeah.
Yung gusto ko yung mild spoilers. So, may part doon, may member siya ng family niya na parang tinatanong siya kung, kayo na ba ulit? Tapos yung lahat ng mga kinakapatid niya, ng mga queen na ba, kung tama nga if you've been around them, and then you've spent a considerable amount of time being with them, talagang, you know that's the Filipino experience din talaga. Yung gano'n na the LGBT are an invaluable part of the Filipino culture na talaga.
Yes.
Pero ayoko namang i-ignore yung mismong kwento talaga nun, yung Third World Romance.
Yeah.
And yun na nga the movie really lives up to its name. It's a true depiction of third world romance. And
kudos to Charlie Dizon. She is such a bright actress.
Sobra. Ang galing niya talaga.
Ang galing niya.
Oo.
And I love na hindi siya yung actress na slang magtagalog. Kasi sobrang hindi fake yung pagmumura niya, yung mga mannerisms niya. Hindi siya pa bebe.
Hindi siya pa bebe.
Oo.
I mean, not to name names, and we're not gonna name names. Kasi I'm pretty sure we're going to be watching... no, not just sure. We are going to be watching a movie of said actor soon.
Yeah.
So, I hope na that movie na papanoorin natin is a turning point sa kanyang career. Pero so far, I mean, if you can infer kung sino yun, yun yung dahilan kung bakit ako personally, before Cinemalaya, kapag may sinabing rom-com, medyo turned off ako. Kasi nga, yun nga hindi siya parang yung kung paano mag-acting tong si Charlie Dizon. Na sobrang, Charlie acts as if she's literally somebody you meet outside the street. And, point out lang, she also starred in the super fantastic film Fangirl.
Ang galing niya din doon.
Galing niya din doon. Yun. Magaling siya pumili. Yun.
Yung si Paolo Avellino naman, yung excessive din na pagmumura na hindi masyadong medyo...
Oo. Parang medyo... Well, I mean, you win some, you lose some. Yun naman ng natin.
True. Meron ba siyang line na walang mura dun?
Parang wala. Parang bawat nahihinga siya.
Okay. Bleep!
Baka maano tayo ng MTRCB. Sinabi daw nila, bawal daw i-play yung trailer ng Third World Romance na may mura. Nakita mo ba yun?
I saw that.
Anyway, we didn't really touch upon the story. Muna. Kasi,
well, you have to see it in the cinemas.
We want you to watch it. It's very, very good. Carlo Aquino is Carlo Aquino. I mean, nakalimutan ko na kung gaano siya ka-charismatic. Kasi dun sa sine, last na pinanood natin, hindi siya nagsasalita.
Sa Itima
Sa Itima
Pupukaw.
Pupukaw. Pero, who knew, no? Magiging strength pala ng sine mo pa nagsasalita si Carlo Aquino, no?
Oo. Akala mo lang hindi.
Akala mo lang. Hindi.
Pero oo. Oo.
Okay. So, ikaw, any final thoughts on Third World Romance before we move on to our next movie?
You should watch it. Definitely, I recommend it. It's very reminiscent of the 90s rom-coms of Jolina and Marvin, pero mas more grounded in reality siya.
Yes, I totally
Mas
agree.
hindi siya fantastical.
Talagang, no matter what your standing in life is, sobra niyang makaka-relate ka. Kasi I'm pretty sure na whether cashier or bagger ka, or nagbi-BPO ka, or boss ka sa isang kumpanya, I'm pretty sure na you've had an experience courting someone or being courted in the way na you'll see in this movie. It's a very universal movie.
Or Filipino experience.
Oh, yun. I mean, for Filipinos, let me adjust that. For Filipinos, it's gonna be a very universal experience. Natutuwa ako kasi yung pinapanood natin siya. Di ba yung mga teenagers sa natin na nagtitilian lahat. Pero mga tayo din, kinikilig din tayo kasi parang, uy, ganun tayo, nagigawan tayo. Parang ganun siya. Nakakatuwa siya. Nakaka-feel good siya. Talaga.
Yeah.
Anyway, sige.
Yeah.
That's it for Third World Romance. Very much recommended. Check it out. Okay?
All right.
Okay, Jen.
Okay, we now move on to Blue Beetle, which we saw right after Third World Romance.
Yes.
We saw it on the same day.
Same day, yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
So, okay, Blue Beetle. An alien scarab chooses college graduate Jaime Reyes to be its symbiotic host, bestowing the teenager with a suit of armor that's capable of extraordinary and unpredictable powers, forever changing his destiny as he becomes the superhero known as Blue Beetle. All right? Cast includes Solo Maridueña, Susan Sarandon, Bruna Marquezine, George Lopez, Belisa Escobedo, and Harvey Guillen.
Yes.
Filipino cast ba to? So, Roy, what did you think of Blue Beetle? By the way, the scarab was voiced in the Philippine cinemas by Inka Magnaye.
Yes. Wag nating kakalimutan yan. Actually, ayoko naman sabihin parang siyang proud to be Pinoy moment. Pero parang natutuwa ako na more and more movie studios are choosing to do that, to employ local talent as part of their, international lineup. Parang for Inka, na siya yung boses nung Scarab, si Khadija. Tama ba?
Yes.
Na yung, like, before si Zian Lim was the voice of Paddington.
Yes.
Yan. So, I found Blue Beetle to be a fun time. Okay? Didn't break new ground.
Yeah.
Kung tutuusin nga actually, parang for the majority of it, parang ang pumapasok sa utak ko, parang nanonood ng Iron Man 1 and 2. Parang pinagsama siya.
Diba?
Na ganun siyang origin story. And I can't fault them eh. Kasi again, DC is trying to introduce a new hero. Okay? So, they're going to have to play with the usual origin story playbook.
That's right.
Yun. Pero as far as origin stories go, well, master na si Marvel nun. So, wala na siyang ano doon. Siguro sa DC. Kukumpara ko siya sa Wonder Woman 1. Ganun siya ka, not as groundbreaking or parang as awe-inspiring as Wonder Woman 1.
Yeah.
Pero, serviceable. It did its job. It introduced the character well. It introduced important figures na dapat mong malaman moving forward sa kwento niya. Na-appreciate ko na sobrang game nung cast. Talaga.
Yes, very much so.
The cast is yung biggest strength nitong scene na to. I mean, even Susan Sarandon, who unfortunately got the short end of the stick pagdating sa script.
Yeah.
I mean, yun naman usually yung Achilles heel ng mga scene na ganito. Undercooked villain.
Yes.
Pero, yun nga, nakakatuwa si Solo Maridueña. I can see him being one of the pillars of the DCU na ba? Yung man tawag na doon? Yung ni James Gunn? DCU na.
By James Gunn, yes.
Yun na yung isa siya sa mga pillars of the DCU moving forward. I found yung character ni George Lopez was an excellent,
The uncle.
si Uncle Rudy.
Yes.
Hindi ko naman, I don't find him funny. More na parang, siguro hindi lang ako exposed dun sa kanyang comedy. Pero pag nakikita ko naman si George Lopez, maybe before, parang siyang, yung mga jokes niya nakakatawa. Pero parang ngayon ko siya na panood na talagang actively part of a big story. Tapos yung kanyang quips, nakakatawa yung presence niya. Sobrang niyang, talagang hindi, ako naman sabihin pa-cute. Siguro kasi para siyang, hindi siya quippy. Na comedy.
Pero he is a comic relief.
Oo.
One of many, actually.
Pero what I mean is, hindi siya yung parang ang kanyang source of comedic timing lagi siyang may banat. Hindi
Hindi naman.
There are times na parang the comedy is, he makes fun of himself or makes a fool of himself. And I appreciate na sobrang game ni George Lopez dun sa aspect na yun. Gusto ko talaga yung paghalimbawa yung hinahabol siya ng kalaban. Siya pa yung pinakamalakas tumili.
And his love for his favorite thing.
Yes. Yan. Yes.
Ayan, nakakatuwa yan.
You'll see it. You'll know it when you see it. Yan. Ikaw, what did you think of Blue Beetle?
For me naman, this is an origin story, of course. But it's not something I haven't seen before. Well, gano'n naman talaga kasi ang mga origin story naman is most of the time formulaic. 'Di ba? And hindi naman siya pwede mag-deviate doon. Pero may mga qualities siya na sobrang relatable. I don't know if because the Mexicans are our distant cousins.
Yes. We are the Mexicans of Asia. True.
And also because of my love for the Spanish language. Kaya nag-a-appeal talaga siya sa akin.
Kung mahilig kayo sa Latin music, merong isang needle drop sa dulo na parang, ako literally parang, I haven't heard that song in 4 years. Simula nung tumigil tayong tumugtog. Pero nung dinig ko siya parang, miss ko tumugtog.
Well, that is my that is my favorite Spanish song.
Me too.
And some references, I don't want to spoil it, pero talagang makikita mo how closely related talaga yung culture ng Mexicans and Filipinos Yung may mga references doon. I don't wanna spoil it because it's one of the best moments of the movie. But yeah, the best thing about this movie for me is, yun din, also, katulad ng Third World Romance, it's family.
Yes, true.
It's all about family.
Family. Anyway.
Pero it's more a family affair than Shazam. If I would relate it to another DC movie na is supposed to be about family.
Oo, tama ka dun. I guess, yung parang biggest thing na may po-point out mo na difference nila in terms of yung sa family aspect. Yung tipong, doon kasi sa Shazam. And ayoko namang maging reductive about yung experiences ng mga foster children.
Yeah.
Kasi ibang story naman yun altogether. Pero kasi, yung pagkakaiba nila, dito sa Blue Beetle, yung family ni Jaime, the Reyeses, talagang kitang-kita mo yung kung gaano sila ka-close, gaano nila kamahal yung isa't isa. Yung unspoken na bond nila doon is very evident. Siguro din kasi tama ka na parang siyang it speaks to the quote-unquote Latinos inside of us. Na parang dahil nga meron tayong Hispanic na background, meron tayong yung Spanish nating doon sa atin, na alam natin kung gaano ka-powerful yung tipong yung mga tingin lang o yung mga sobrang konti lang na mga glance, na mga usap, tas yung alam mong malaman yung sinasabi, pero hindi kailangan madaming sinasabi. Ganun tayo
Ganon tayo. Ganon
diba?
na ganon.
Exactly.
Kahit yung yung mga tuksuhan sa bahay, yung pinakagusto ko sa kanyang pinakita niya na family dynamic is when one member of the family experiences something, the family can feel it.
Hindi siya
It's a shared experience. It's not just the one person experiencing anything. Lagi siyang communal.
Yan. I mean, as with Filipinos, sabihin natin siguro Mexicans, ganun na parang sobrang, it's truly a family affair. And yun na nga, I mean, it's been spoiled in the trailers na the family really does get up and help the lead character, si Jaime, in his story. Pero we won't tell much about it kasi maganda yung hindi man sa sobrang parang mind-blowing siya. It's a fun part of the movie. Yung seeing the family work together. Diba?
Yes,
and there's one moment there na sobrang makikita niyo ang badass, the most badass grandma.
She's my favorite character
this year.
there.
Si Nana. Nana Reyes. So, nakakatuwa siya.
And she reminds me of Abuela Coco.
Yes.
Yeah.
What if Abuela Coco says, yippee-ki-yay, mother truckers? Mga gano'n. Okay na, yun ang sabihin ko. Yun na lang yan. Sige. If I were to say anything na this movie could have improved on, well, yun na nga, again, formulaic, sobrang bug standard na villain. Although yung isang sub-villain doon, yung parang si Carapax ba yun? Merong naging depth sa kanya. Appreciated yun.
Yeah.
Pero
albeit late.
Well, actually, yung sa parang may part dun sa simula, tapos may nangyari, tapos yun yung nangyari, tapos nagkatingin sila, tapos sabi ko, yun na alam ko na yung mangyayari dun. Okay.
Well, the movie is, kinda, a little bit predictable.
Yeah, man.
To some degree.
I mean, we've been watching stories like this for 15, 16 years na. More pa, kung kakount mo pa yung mga X-Men.
Pero, alam mo, may point dito sa movie na to na parang, okay, parang it sucks to be a superhero.
Actually, I think that is what they're trying to do moving forward. Di naman sa yung parang sobrang dour pa rin. Na parang yung Zack Snyder na DCEU noon. Pero,
pang sad boy naman yun.
Well, I mean, yeah. Justice for Henry Cavill. Yun na lang. Yun sa akin. Anyway, yun lang yung feeling kong gusto nilang gusto nilang i-cement sa more fantastical reality yung kwento moving forward. Kasi ang problema kasi ng DCEU, masyado naman siyang real. Parang ang tinanong nila, paano kung yung world natin ngayon nagkaroon ng superhero? And I mean, I guess, tama yung naging sagot nila kasi sobrang dour nung mga sine, maliban sa Wonder Woman. And kahit
we go to movies to escape.
Exactly. Yan. So, I think na they're going to try to find a happy balance between the fantastical and the real world. And that's what they achieved here.
I hope James Gunn achieved that classicist superhero universe.
Yes, true. Yung talagang hindi naman masyadong parang real world, pero hindi na naman masyadong sobrang out there. Na yun nga, na-remind ako nung kalaban yung character ni Susan Sarandon. Para siyang yung character ni David Toulis sa Wonder Woman, si Mars.
Yes.
Yung God of War. So parang ganun din siya ka
one-dimensional.
Na yun nga, sobrang nilang parang super, I'm evil. Tapos yun nga, kung alam, actually, meron nga atang parang evil na bata si Susan Sarandon dito.
Meron.
Meron. Talaga. So, talagang, parang siyang kunan lang may signboard sa gilid ng sinihan na, don't cheer for her, guys. Masama siya. Okay? Alam niyo kung sino kalaban.
Basta may black eyeliner.
Ganun. Pero I'm happy na hindi siya ginawang forefront with that one-dimensionality. At ang ginawa nilang bida dito ay yung, of course, si Jaime Reyes, the lead character, and his family.
They are the real superheroes.
Family. Well, I guess yun yung pwede mo masabing dito eh. Parang thesis statement niya. Family is the real hero.
Yes.
Yun. Kahit superhero ka pa, wala ka pag wala yung pamilya mo. Yan. So, yun lang. Ikaw, what did you think? Anything else to add?
Final thoughts?
To Blue Beetle? Anything?
Well, meron siyang sequel baiting scene.
Should we get into that?
I don't know. Medyo nagkakaroon ako ng ng superhero fatigue.
Actually, ako din
nararamdaman ko na siya, pero let's just see. Yun yung general general feeling about superhero movies
right now. Kasama din yung mga yung mga Disney Plus na mga Marvel.
Lahat
actually.
I don't wanna keep my hopes up.
Ako naman din masyadong ayoko namang i-belittle masyado tong Blue Beetle kasi it's fun.
It was fun.
It's a fun time out. It's better than most superhero movies. It's better than a lot of Marvel movies, if I may say so. Pero, yun na nga eh. It's nothing we haven't seen before.
It's safe.
It's a safe movie. It benefits from having Latino culture and family, the concept of family, and what it really means front and center. And the movie is better off for it. In spite of its obvious weaknesses na yung kalaban, yung etc., yung over-reliance sa CGI, yung mga ganun. Yan. Still, go watch it. Talaga. Pero if you're gonna watch them both, ako, feeling, sa akin, kung gusto nyo parang yung from good to great ba, unahin nyo muna yung Blue Beetle. Tapos ihuli nyo yung Third World Romance. Yan. Para maganda yung ending. Yung nung inyong double feature, kung gusto nyo i-double feature to. And,
so,
yes.
Yeah, that's it for Third World Romance and Blue Beetle. Just like Roy teased earlier, our next episode will be a double-sode again for the second and third episode of Drag Race Philippines.
Yes, and we're going to have the same crew back again.
The Drag Geeks.
Yes, I'm going to be stepping aside for our Drag Geeks. Then
you're just gonna be our
invisible audience member niyo ako. Yan. Pero if you enjoyed that episode as did ako, na pinakinggan ko din siya. Sobrang fun. We're gonna have Norman, Mayton, and Jello back again for the discussion. And I'm excited to hear yung next episode niyo as well.
Yeah, me too.
Sige. Okay.
Alright, Cinegeeks, if you've seen any one or all of these movies, please share with us what you thought about it. Comment it on our social media. Again, we are on Facebook, Instagram, and Threads. We are also on YouTube. That's at CineGeeksPod.
Yeah.
For my co-host Troy, this has been Angela. Thank you for listening to the Cinegeeks podcast, where movies, TV, and all things geek collide.